guys, it's Mrs. Green here, and today we are going to do some basic shading practice, like something like this. When we start off in art, we want to just start with the very basics, which is pencil, and we're going to go over how to shade and how to create value. Value is the lightness or darkness of something, and you can do that with any media, but because it's day one of art class here, we're going to use a pencil and get familiar with that. So the first thing we're going to do is a value scale. We're going to go from dark to light. We're going to do 6 different values, and we're going to do smooth shading with that, which is where you don't want to see the lines. Then we're going to come down here and we're going to practice using different types of mark making where you want to see the lines, because you can shade where the lines are visible, and sometimes that adds a nice little effect to your drawing. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to need a piece of paper. It can be from your sketchbook. That is totally fine. It doesn't need to be as big as mine. I just use this one so you could see it in the camera. Then you're also going to need that ruler that we sent home with you, a pencil, or maybe 2 so you don't have to sharpen as often, because you're going to be using quite a bit of the lead to shade with. And I would prefer that you don't use a mechanical pencil just because it's going to take you twice as long. But if that's all you have, then by all means use it. And then if you have a pencil sharpener, you might need that as well. Some of the toolkits got pencil sharpeners. We had some extras, but if not, you can get one from the dollar store for, $1. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay my ruler across my paper horizontal, okay, long ways. And I'm gonna just trace my ruler on the top and on the bottom so that I create a bar. And with that bar, we're then going to go ahead and make 5 dashes. And they don't have to be perfect. If you do want it to be perfect, guess what? You have a ruler, so you can use the ruler to measure it out. But I'm just gonna kind of space them out here. Okay, I made 5 dashes. They're not perfect. That's totally okay. And then I'm just gonna make these little lines nice and light so that I know when I need to switch and make things lighter. One tip is if you do have one box that's larger than the other, this is gonna be my lightest value. So I'm gonna use this one as last so I have less shading to do, just to make it a little easier on you. Okay, so we're gonna go from dark to light. If you wanna go ahead and label it, you can. So this is gonna be our darkest value. This is gonna be our lightest. Or you can do it the other way around. If you prefer to go light to dark, I personally just think it's always easy to make something darker than it is to try to like erase. Because as you know, if you press too dark, you can't always get those lines to go away. All right, so I'm gonna take my pencil and I'm gonna kind of turn it sideways, and we're gonna do some smooth shading. So I wanna make sure that I am getting every little line filled in here. I'm going back and forth, really getting even coverage. What I don't wanna do is this, because then I have to go in and find all those little white spots. So I'm trying to kind of take my time here and really get even coverage. And once I get to this little bar, that means I'm gonna switch to a lighter value. So I'm pressing really hard, and that's how you get darker values. So I'm kind of choking up on the pencil, okay? I'm trying to use the side of the pencil so I can get more than I am if I use the tip. It takes longer. Okay, and I'm just gonna go back and forth here. It's okay if you go a little bit out of the box. I don't expect perfection. This is just skills practice. And anytime we do skills practice, all I'm looking for is completion, that you tried that skill, that you did what was asked, but I don't care if it's perfect or not. As long as you have 6 different values, that's what I'm asking of you. If you have a couple lines out here, no big deal. All right. Now, one other thing I did grab was a paper towel. You can use your fingers, but your fingers have oils in them. So if you like smudge it too much, then that oil is gonna get trapped in the paper and you can't erase it. So I always use a pencil or a paper towel because it doesn't have oils. Same thing for a Kleenex. You can use a Kleenex, but it usually has like some type of like lotion in it so your nose doesn't get as chafed. And I'm just gonna kind of blend this a little bit to really get rid of those lines. And then I'll go back over it again, trying to get it nice and even and as dark as possible. I'm gonna repeat this step, okay, for each of these boxes, but I'm gonna increasingly get lighter, okay? Oh, I made a little mistake there. If you want to, you can erase it. It's not a big deal. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just practicing. Okay, so when I get to this next one, I'm gonna press still pretty hard, but just a little bit lighter, okay? So hopefully you can see how that is lighter than the one next door. And I'm gonna repeat this process for each of these boxes, okay? Just increasingly getting lighter and lighter and lighter. All right, and I'm gonna speed this up on my app so that way you don't have to watch me spend 30 minutes shading this. So I will speed this up for you, and then we'll move on to the next part. This might be a good part for you to pause and just draw, and then we'll come back together when we do the drawing practice down here. And we're back. So that did annoy me a little bit, so I fixed my lines up. And then as I start to look at it, I might see, oh, I can see some more lines here. So I wanna get these nice and blended. One thing is you don't wanna, like, if I sit here and work on number 2 here, my second darkest value, I would not wanna take this and come put it down here. It would make it way too dark. So use a different side of your paper or get a new piece of paper, paper towel. So I'm just gonna kind of blend that out just a little bit more. Make it a little smoother, because it's bothering me. Okay, and if I notice it's kind of, you know, light in places, I can still come back in and always fix things up. Your eraser is also a tool. So if I notice it was too dark down here, then I can come in and use my eraser and kind of lighten up things. So again, this is just practice, so that's pretty good. Okay, so we're gonna label this smooth shading. And make sure each of your boxes is a different color of gray, okay? They should not be the same. They can be kind of close, like my 5 and 6 are pretty close, but I should still be able to see a clear difference between all of them. Okay, so now we're gonna practice shading where you want to see the lines, okay? So the first one we're gonna do is kind of what I was already doing. It's called hatching. So to do hatching, it's basically just side to side. Sorry, this little tripod keeps getting in my way. So I'll try to do it this way. So I'm gonna go side to side, pressing hard, and then I'm gonna, as I go up, I'm gonna lighten up on the pencil so that I can show value change, okay? And I can always come back in again and do it again if I feel like it's not dark enough. So side to side, okay? Next up, we're gonna try cross hatching, which is almost the exact same thing, except for we're going to, you guessed it, cross our lines. So there are 2 ways you can go about this one.